In 1927, 4 Texas ice houses were struggling with the demand across the state as cold drinks, perfect cocktails, and crispy Dr. Peppers were becoming more and more popular. As the 4 companies merged together, they would start a chain of events that would eventually go from giving people blocks of frozen ice to giant cups of frozen soft drinks, with everything else in between. So grab a tank of fuel, a pack of chips, and a big old Slurpee, and strap in as we go over the history of the Southland Ice Company.
7-Eleven.
Nah, it's 7-Eleven. I got a prop.
Nice. Or
Hello.
should I say ice?
Ice, bucket.
Hello. I bought this hat from an actual 7-Eleven and it was $1.50. And the guy said, do you actually love 7-Eleven? I said, for $1.50? Yeah, I do. I've been very proud of it ever since.
What an odd sales tactic. You sure you love 7-Eleven?
No, he didn't say sure. He goes, do you love 7-Eleven? That was how he said it. It was awesome.
Who's fact checking today?
No one. No fact checking required.
No, I'm doing it.
Nah, if you want, you can fact check, yeah. But it's way more fun when you two are just staring at me completely intent on whatever the hell I'm talking about.
Until we look at a cat and then
Until
we
you
get
look at
yelled
a cat, then you get yelled at.
Or is it fun for you when Aaron and I are just riffing constantly?
Yes, within reason.
Okay.
However, I've structured my script a bit better this time, so hopefully we can
He's
stay a
got
bit
waffle
more.
breaks.
Yeah, we can get a bit more on track. I have a bit more humor and nuance to my script.
Wow.
Thanks, listeners.
He's just called us out. He's got humor.
No, as in my previous scripts are just
You're
like
calling yourself
it's in
out.
like Arial size 11. It's just very uninteresting.
Oh, you just made
looking.
a Comic Sans.
Can
No, I've made it Times New Roman, but I made it bigger.
Papyrus.
Can we
I
just
made it Times New Roman.
But bigger, I can see it better this time. I don't get
what
lost.
did you say? Don't make it papyrus. You're just ripping off James Cameron.
Yes, I would be ripping off James Cameron. I'm a Helvetica guy anyway.
What's your favorite Slurpee flavor?
Raspberry.
Okay. What do you think mine is?
It's Coca-Cola. I know it's Coca-Cola.
I do love a good Coke and raspberry mix.
What are the? I don't even know what the flavors are.
There's
Oh, man,
only
there's-
3 that matter.
Yeah,
Coke, raspberry, and the other one.
blue.
Yeah. Is it lemonade?
It's blue. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is. It's blue. It tastes like blue. I don't care if anyone says it's blue lemonade, blue raspberry, whatever. It's blue.
Anyway, what's your favorite flavor, boy? Okay.
Not a big Slurpee drinker.
Not really.
I don't like when they do all the weird ones like sour apple and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is one of the few places where I believe tradition matters. They are long living flavors for a reason. Let them live.
Sadly, we don't have in Australia one of the original 2 flavors because it is a unpopular choice in Australia as a whole of flavors.
Blood?
No,
Oh.
we'll get to it.
I would say probably the blue raspberry flavor.
The
would be
blue
my
one.
favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it now. They've got no sugar orange, no sugar watermelon punch. They're all no sugar. Kiwi strawberry sounds delicious.
No. Slurpees are
And sour
cola,
bubble gum.
raspberry,
Blue.
blue, and whatever the other one is that they want to have at that time.
Why
I'm
does it-
sorry, but if you go into a 7-Eleven now, they do not have the core flavors. They have all the weirdo ones.
There is
And then the cola one is
so many.
melted and spinning.
Yeah, the cola one's not working because it's the only one anyone wants because
Yeah.
they walk in and go,
Hang on.
what's all this? And then they just get cola.
I'm just going to
Make 7-Eleven Slurpees great again.
Damn straight.
Okay, I'm going to 7-Eleven's website. We've got
Get that on a hat.
we got sour blueberry, sour strawberry, sour apple,
Garbage.
cola,
Good.
Good.
sour passion fruit,
Garbage.
Garbage.
raspberry,
Good.
pineapple,
Good.
lychee,
Garbage.
Ugh.
grape.
Good.
There's like
But again, you only go into a 7-Eleven, there's 4 of them.
oh my god, there's another 5 pages of it.
Whoa. But
Sour bubblegum, sour blue raspberry, sour blackcurrant, sour pineapple, sour lime, vanilla, strawberry cream. Ooh,
boy,
We've been over strawberries and cream
we're
on this
gonna-
podcast.
I'm going to
It doesn't
stop
work.
you.
lime
because
twist, mango and cream. Mango and cream is my favorite.
Worst fact
What?
checker ever.
Mango and cream?
That sounds terrible.
You got mango and cream for brains.
Do you not like a Wheat bar?
Yes, but that's
That's
a wee
mango
spa.
and cream.
That's a wee
That's
spa.
a wee spa.
That's like going, oh man, I really want a Slurpee that tastes like a steak. No.
Lemon lime bitters, kumquat, coconut, pineapple, passion fruit, lime, mango, tropical, passion fruit.
Big old. What?
Strawberry. There's Chupa Chup flavors, strawberry chew,
Boy,
orange
you
chew,
ruined it. I have to cut all of this.
lemon sherbet, candy cane, fizz tingle,
Boy.
marshmallow, butterscotch, wild
Boy,
cream.
I just said big old. This is getting cut.
Getting cut.
Just bleep it. Wild berry cream, guava, caramel apple pie, peach vanilla.
I can't keep editing this way.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Whoosh, up, whoosh, whoosh, up, whoosh. Okay.
Let's
All
pause
right.
the podcast. Where's the closest 7-Eleven? We'll go down and see what flavors they got there and we'll back with the Slurpee.
Where would the?
I might
It doesn't
feel-
matter. Let's get on to the story.
Okay. Okay. Starting off, I tried to include some titles. You love titles.
I do love a good title.
So, where there's drinks, there's ice.
Mm.
Ice baby.
That's the last time we're making that joke this episode.
You were waiting for it.
That's already twice.
I guarantee you it's not.
Anyway, in the beginning of the 20th century, refrigeration methods were few and far between. The first home refrigerators in the 1920s cost around about $700 US.
Which cartoon was it that had the ice? Oh, it was The Simpsons at the Quickie Mart. They had like the guy that would go to the Arctic to get ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also the start of Frozen.
For context, a Ford Model T was $476.
Nice. They don't make them like they used to.
No. So for inflation, $700 is $13,000 US in 2025
That for a Model T?
for a fridge.
Oh, right. Okay.
For a Model T, it'd be around about $8,000 US.
How's that though? Can I
Yeah.
just point out? Anyway, go on.
$13,000 US for
Yeah.
a fridge.
Yep. That was why everybody had salted meats.
Yeah, it's mental.
Mm.
With the high price to keep things cool at home, ice houses was still a very regular thing. Head out, grab some fruit at the market, some full sugar Dr. Pepper at the pharmacy, pick up some tobacco, stop by the ice house for some frozen water on the way home. In Texas, after a few different ice houses combined to form one of the big guys in the game, the Southland Ice Company was eventually born.
Big
Now,
ice.
well, the merger, it was pretty big. So the
Yeah.
merger ended up giving the new formed company 8 different manufacturing ice warehouses and over 20 retailers alone across the Dallas area. That's a lot.
No wonder fridges are so expensive. We've
Who-
got big ice out there.
Who was in charge of the ice houses?
The Southland Ice Company.
Who was the head of that? Was it Walter White?
It was not Walter White. Anyway,
No, it was
Although-
MC Hammer. No, damn it. That wasn't him.
no, it wasn't. Anyway, although only selling
What was
ice,
his name? Vanilla Ice.
although only selling ice,
Vanilla Ice.
for,
No, it was Vanilla Ice. There, cut that in.
anyway, although only selling ice for one employee, they were selling dreams.
Nice.
I
So
thought he was going to say meth.
John Jefferson Green, a Southland employee, began selling basic grocery items from his retail ice house. This was then upgraded to him selling these items at 16 different locations across Dallas because corporate really liked that idea. They thought it was pretty good. The permission of one of the founding directors of Southland Ice was Joe C. Thompson Sr., and he was the one that was like, you know what, this guy's got a great idea. We're actually going to like roll this out across all of Dallas. Even though there were already small grocery stores spread throughout, Thompson thought that the convenience of selling these items, get ready,
I wasn't ready.
even though there were already small grocery stores scattered throughout Dallas, Thompson thought that the convenience of selling these items at his ice houses would reduce the need for customers to travel all the way to the markets for basic items that they could just pick up on their way home while they were getting ice. Thompson's idea was an absolute smash hit, and he eventually bought the Southland Ice Company and turned it into the Southland Corporation. In 1928, a Southland manager went on holiday to Alaska, where they need lots of ice,
Yeah,
obviously.
they need lots of ice. And
That manager came back with a decorative totem pole,
Nice.
a pretty tall one.
What native population did he steal that from?
Didn't say.
Cool.
There were,
the Inuit people?
Probably.
it could have been any. Well, that's a broad term. We're not going to get into that.
Okay.
They then set up that pole in front of their store because just random.
Why not?
Why not random decoration in
Why not?
in Texas? Yeah.
Just ask the British about doing that.
Apparently, this became a pretty smart marketing move as people started associating the Southland Ice Company with this totem pole. Like
Right.
people thought, oh, like I'll go to, the guy with the totem pole.
Yeah.
There was only one store, but everyone was like,
We'll
oh,
go to
this is-
Totem Polos.
we'll go to the
Yeah.
totem pole. In a pretty short space of time, the rest of the company became placing these totem poles at the rest of their locations because they're like, well, everyone keeps thinking we've got this totem pole, so we're just going to do that.
Man, how easy is the market to manipulate?
Yeah, in the 20s. And it was even more successful when they started doing that. So they actually rebranded the stores to be called Totems
Cool.
because you also tote
Yeah.
your
tote
groceries.
bags. Yep.
Yeah, you tote your groceries home.
Let's bring that back.
Totem bags.
No, just
Oh, I was going to say, they
Let's-
literally want us to do that, and I
Can we-
keep buying cardboard
can we
bags.
change 7-Eleven to totes?
Well,
Change the name.
so around the time that they started doing these totem poles and rebranded as Totem, they also started doing fuel at the same time, which is pretty cool. Now,
Petroleum.
obviously in Australia, we kind of associate 7-Eleven a lot, if you're old enough, with fuel stations because for a long time they were just fuel stations.
Yeah. You'd be
Yeah.
going in to get
I-
your Slurpee, dodge a crackhead driving their
Yeah.
blown up Falcon.
Obviously now,
I feel that's more of a Queensland thing because when I've been to Sydney and Melbourne, 7-Elevens are just little stores in the wall.
yes, but 15 years ago they were also still mostly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like I said, if you're old enough to sort of remember like a long time ago.
It's
or
still
if
like
you're,
that in Brisbane City too.
Yeah.
They're just tiny.
Or
Oh,
if
really?
you're in South Australia, nothing. There is no 7-Eleven in South Australia.
That's because I'm sure they've got some weirdo company there instead,
They-
right?
They
Break into that
never,
market.
there's another competitor in that market that kind of,
Cheeky Tales franchise, 7-Eleven, South Australia.
so they never had 7-Eleven at all. And then around about the time I moved there in 2010, this guy started buying all these different servos specifically, formed them into one company called On The Run. And not to brag on 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven's great. I love 7-Eleven, but On The Run is like, they focus, they don't do the small locations that much, but they make their petrol stations ridiculous.
Oh, like Bucky's.
Yeah, like Bucky's.
Mm.
Like, as you've seen, the one near my old house is probably going to get cut. The one near my old house was where they had the first Krispy Kreme in South Australia, John, which had like a building the size of the servo over the road, which was also the bakery
Over the road.
for the whole state. Sorry, it was across the car park from it.
You're
over
right.
the road.
It was ridiculous.
Okay.
It was it's enormous. I'll find a photo of it later. Anyway, moving back, hard cut. John playing with this thing.
No, it's just funny. You said over the road, and I pictured the store being like a bridge over the road,
Like an
not just
overpass.
not just the other side of the road. I don't know why my brain went there.
That's okay. So with the introduction of fuel, they truly became America's first convenience store. Hence why I keep doing this air quotation sort of thing. By the time the 20s came to an end, with the direction of Joe Thompson at the helm, the company had trained all of its employees in a standard system so that all the customers, regardless of location, received the same level of customer service.
Smart.
Up next, why is it always the 30s?
It just is.
It's always the 30s.
That-
Boo, 1930s.
That seems like a practice that was developed there that has been adopted industry wide, like this
Yep.
standard practice of service.
Yep, got to keep it all the same so that people
That's
know
right.
what they're getting. When the new decade arrived, so too did the Great Depression.
Boo.
Yeah, boo 30s. Southland was not immune to this and filed for bankruptcy, eventually continuing through reorganization and receivership.
But how? People always need ice.
I know. A Dallas banker who also helped revive the company by selling bonds at 7 cents on the dollar. This, however, moved the company to being controlled by a board of directors, no longer just a simple family-ish company, being the Thompson family. Another great way to cure the blues of no money, booze.
Yep.
With the repeal of prohibition,
Mm.
Southland Ice decided to stock alcohol at its totem stores and sell lots of it.
That feels like a bad idea when you've got people driving in to get petrol and groceries and then just leave them with a bottle of booze.
And
You know
being
what?
very excited that prohibition
Yeah.
has been
You make a
cut.
very good point. Let's fill up our vehicles and then get alcohol.
I mean, it was
Being-
really it was like the 70s before they banned drink driving in some places.
It's very convenient.
Sure.
Okay, fine. That's not working, all right. I'm just going to stop doing the air quotation
Ice Ice Baby.
convenient thing.
There's like I've heard of it before
I'm
of
editing
like
this episode now.
the like TV interviews with people being like, "Who are they to tell me I can't drink beer while I'm driving?" Like, that
Hindsight
was a normal thing over there.
Hindsight, as they say, is 2020. Their vision was not because they
No.
were drunk.
Yeah.
And they were driving 2 ton of a steel square, so they're probably
Yes.
safe inside of it.
Yep.
No, they're not. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, they weren't wearing seatbelts.
No
Unsafe
crump-
at any speed.
No crumple zones, no collapsible steering columns, no
Don't make 'em
airbags,
like
no
they used to.
seat belts. Yeah.
Yeah, we bloody drove with no traction controller. We survived. Yeah, but what about the 1 in 5 others that didn't?
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
actually about the same as driving in an actual steel box with nothing else inside it and then hitting something.
Yeah.
And then you bounce around it like a pinball.
And you've also got no seatbelts, so you're just, pinging around it.
All right.
Shouldn't have made a comment, should you? Didn't realize how passionate I was about this.
I did not.
So during Dub 2,
WW2.
WW2, a massive army training camp was set up
The
near
sequel.
Dallas. Who do you think provided all the ice to the training camp?
Your mate.
Yep.
Elsa.
Elsa. Yeah, definitely Elsa. That's the second Frozen joke. That's it.
Let it snow, baby.
Absolutely not. Yep, our gang over at the Totem stores. This gave a massive bump in funds to the struggling company that had just pulled itself out of the Depression, which helped pull it together for its most ambitious rebrand that still sticks around today.
I mean, it sounds dumb. They're selling frozen water and they're making a company out of it.
Yep.
But I guess it would have been hard.
People like
Yeah,
frozen
because you
water.
couldn't do it in your house back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, people like frozen water.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's refreshing. It's ice. It's the cordial of the 30s.
Rebrand that stands today, is that 7-Eleven? Is that where we get 7-Eleven?
Almost.
Okay.
Getting there. So in
it was
19
7-12?
So in
Am I-
1946, with Dub 2 over and done with, people were spending more money like hand over foot. To help with spending more money, Totem stores all across Texas changed their opening hours. Put your feet down. No feet in this damn episode.
Don't let those dogs bark.
Anyway, Totem stores all across Texas changed their opening hours.
7
till
to
10,
11.
6 till 10:15.
Yeah, cool.
No, it was 7 till 11.
6 till 10:15.
Absolutely ruined my joke.
Yeah.
Big space there to tell the joke. Nothing.
Is
Just
that
jumped
why
in.
it's called 7-Eleven?
Yeah, they
I
changed
figured that's what it would be.
7
what
days
else
a
would
week.
it be?
Yeah, 7 days a week, 7 in the morning.
I assumed it was 7 days a week, 11 hours a day.
Nope, 7 days a week, 7 in the morning till 11 at night.
11 hours a day for a convenience store. That would be like 9 till 8.
No one went out at night time in the 30s.
Ah.
It was dangerous.
That's where you're wrong.
Okay, everyone went out in night time in the 30s.
This was massive for the company and absolutely game-changing at the time. With these new hours, the company changed the name of its stores to 7-Eleven, and all of the stores got rebranded, updated, and expanded because it was so popular.
I
They're
would
like,
assume-
oh my God, it's open. I'm sitting at home. I'm doing nothing. I can go to 7-Eleven. And because it was so convenient, they would they put heaps of money into it and made them like fun.
Like it's like Macca's, right?
Yeah.
Macca's is the only thing open. You go to
You
Macca's.
go to Macca's.
And in those days, everything would have shut at like 5.
Yep.
So-
Except 7-Eleven.
If 7-Eleven's open, you're going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, you want a 6-pack? You want some ice?
Yeah, you want to get absolutely blasted and drive home and endanger everyone else on the road? 7-Eleven.
Yep. It's like teenagers going to wash in their cars with nothing else to do.
This
Go to
episode
7-Eleven.
not sponsored by 7-Eleven after that comment.
Cheeky Tales says no to drink driving.
We do say no to drink driving. We say yes to responsible ownership of vehicles.
So, John P. Thompson, son of the previously mentioned Joe C. Thompson Sr. If I get them back to front throughout this episode, I'm sorry.
So you're up to John.
Similar, we're up to John.
Yeah.
John. He landed
Yes,
himself
right.
on the board of directors in 1948. Not at the top, but on the board of directors. He's done very well in 1948. By the time the 50s had come around, cars were everywhere, and John knew just what to do. He got analysts to study traffic patterns and road developments to help guide where new stores should be opened. Where new stores should be opened and needed to be for best business model to maximize their convenience across the country. By the end of the 1950s, after the success of this plan, John was now the vice president and had expanded 7-Eleven stores beyond the Longhorn Territory into Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Maryland. In 1963, Southland then began buying other convenience store locations around the country, including Speedy Mart, which was a California-based convenience store location.
What are you thinking?
Quickie Mart.
Yeah.
Is that?
It's nothing to do with that.
It's
Yeah.
not a rip off of that.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I mean, Quickie Mart is also a thing here, but it's quick, like actually spelled properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the 60s, before The Simpsons. Quickie Mart, obviously. Yeah.
Well, they can still rip it off
Yeah, probably. But
just because it's the 60s.
Who loves the Quickie Mart?
now because they bought,
do.
because they
Great
bought,
episode.
Yeah.
because
They bought.
because they bought Speedy
Spit
Mart.
it out.
Just get on with it, Sean.
Speedy Mart had 128 locations across California, which was quite a lot. Now, they got to that size not by strategic corporate shenanigans of analyzing road data, but by franchising. They had franchises open their stores. So 7-Eleven went, let's just do that. So they started moving into the franchise method of business for the whole company. And once again, it absolutely took off. It just kept going, and they just kept expanding, and then buying more smaller convenience companies and getting bigger and bigger. Also in 1962, after a particularly rowdy game of foosball at the Texas Longhorn Stadium, one store stayed open till dawn to satisfy the demand of the customers.
But did they rebrand the store?
No, they didn't rebrand the store, but
7 till dawn.
But it did in 1962 prompt them to open a few stores 24 hours a day. In a few in Texas and then in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that makes sense for Vegas. Yeah.
And
right. So this is the first time we get 24/7.
First time we get 24/7 in the 60s. Like you think, it's 24/7. So no, in the 60s in Texas.
Texas.
Now, it was during the 60s that a 7-Eleven employee noticed that the logo would look a little bit less aggressive if all the letters weren't capital. Did you ever notice that the N
I have seen the meme.
is lowercase?
I've seen the meme.
What's the meme?
Just pointing it out.
The N is lowercase. They decided that it wouldn't look so aggro if one of the letters was lowercase to be more whimsical.
I would have thought you'd go with the E.
I know, and they're still doing it now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
From the 60s. Next time you drive up to a 7-Eleven servo, have a look up at the sign and go, what do you know?
And then go in and get a disappointing Slurpee.
Hey, yeah, if you get a disappointing flavor.
Bring your own bucket day.
Well, funny that. Next topic, frozen future. Oh, don't. Just go. You like that. You love titles.
I like the titles.
Thank you. Oh, that's it. Anyway, in the late 1950s, a Dairy Queen operator began tinkering with old parts of a car air conditioning unit to freeze drinks partially. It wasn't necessarily his plan to do it partially, but he started to notice that, hey, this is actually like quite nice. Like it creates this sort of slushy type stuff. And after a lot of testing, it took him 5 years to get it right.
Wow.
The first ices were created and sold at Dairy Queens across the country. That's their sort of thing. You know, they call it an icy. Now, it was very popular and he was like, well, I'm just going to make lots of money for this. So he patented it and sold machines all over the place. 7-Eleven went, yeah, we need that. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So,
did he also create them so they weren't working half the time?
Not necessarily. So in the 60s, 7-Eleven swooped in and in 1966, they launched their game-changing Slurpees. Originally only available in Coca-Cola flavored or cherry. Like I said, not that popular as a flavor in Australia.
Yeah, Americans love their cherry.
Americans love cherry.
Yeah.
For everything we have over here that's raspberry flavored, there's this cherry flavored.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love cherry.
We're all about vanilla.
In a way, yeah. They just love cherry flavored. They're like for us, cherry is a medication flavor. For them, it's not. It's a good flavor. Someone mentioned that their medication isn't cherry flavored. They have something familiar, strawberry, I think. Fact checker's going to start looking stuff up now. Now, they did have 2 flavors originally, but they would very, very quickly expand to every flavor that you could ever want and every flavor that you don't want.
Like kumquat.
And peach cream. And all these other mango cream. All these other awful flavors.
I want some mango cream.
And all the sour versions of the same flavor, which are just less good. Anyway,
again, you just need the 3.
You
Apple
just need
pie.
What?
Yuck.
Gross.
I don't want pastry flavored Slurpee.
It's a blended fish flavored Slurpee. Yum.
Yep. What I actually want is
flavor.
I just want takoyaki flavored. I just want that pure octopus ball flavor in a Slurpee. So, in 1969, say it with me now. Nice.
Ice.
Oh, boo. They opened their first location
Very smart
in
of you.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
This was their first international 7-Eleven, and it was a smash hit, prompting even further international expansion. And in 1973, after a joint venture with the Ito Yokado supermarket franchise in Japan, they launched their first Japanese eatery.
Nice. Eatery.
Yes, that's what they. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
because it was more focused on that, less on the fuel. Also to come from the excess of the 1970s. What? He's fact checking something.
Oh, I just asked what is the medicine flavor in your country, and it's like in the US we have grape, bubblegum, mint, berry, and lemon.
There you go. Not
UK
cherry.
gets aniseed.
Yeah.
Isn't that licorice?
Yeah.
Yuck!
I love licorice.
I hate licorice.
I like licorice. I don't think it's a appropriate flavor for medicine.
I wouldn't be mad.
but it just says usually it's cherry flavored.
Anyway.
So, also to come from the excess of the 1970s was giant soft drinks.
Mm.
Has anyone ever heard of the Big Gulp?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big thing in the States.
Gulp.
32 ounces.
Gross.
32 ounces. That's 950 milliliters
Oh, that's a lot of drink.
in a cup.
You know what's funny? A liter beer? Great.
Fine.
A liter of soft drink? Oh, insane. What are you doing? That's crazy.
But a liter of soft drink that you can just go and get and just have all the time. You're not at a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's no responsible service of soft drink. Like, it's not RSSD. Like,
That sounds like a 1920 kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liter of soft drink? No. Liter of beer? Yes.
absolutely. But when you just need that massive hit of high fructose corn syrup to get you through the day, it's the 70s. Now, their overall soft drink sales doubled in 3 months
Yeah.
because they were twice the size of what they
Yep.
should be. They say that it was 12 ounces bigger than their biggest size. That's still really big.
That's still 600 and something mil.
Yeah, 16.
Actually, when you say it like that, that's just a 600 ml Coke. That's not
still,
that much.
yeah, but 600 ml, but that was their biggest. That's
Yeah.
still pretty big.
Mm.
Like, if that was their biggest, then like, make the big gulp. You know, they make a double gulp.
What?
Double gulp.
So 64 ounces?
Yes.
So this is saying that
It's not quite 64. I think they lessened it to
How
60
are these
ounces.
people not just pissing their pants?
I know.
So this is saying that at the time, Coca-Cola had a 16 US fluid ounce, which is 470 mil.
Yep.
And the largest fountain drink available at the time was McDonald's with a 20 fluid ounce, 590 mil.
Sorry, what company?
Oh, not you too.
Macca's.
It's McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Not McDonald's.
Macca's.
McDaniels.
McDonald's.
Like a Big Mac.
Sorry, Rachel. My
Sorry,
wife
don't-
also calls it McDonald's.
Don't correct me on that. You can go sit on a big gulp.
Fact checker strikes again. Anyway, So-
sit on a big gulp.
all the with all of this sugar and high fructose corn syrup, the crash was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So after purchasing an
Hang on.
auto parts company,
Just hang on.
What?
You said there was a double gulp?
yeah,
What was the size of the double gulp?
I think that it was supposed to be 64, but they lessened it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they had the super big gulp,
super big gulp, yeah, and then there was the double
which is
gulp,
1.3,
and then there's also the
And then-
standard gulp,
and then followed by the 64 fluid ounce double,
double
gulp.
gulp. It's too big.
Later reduced to 50.
There you go. Just,
I'll bet there was protests
That's
about that.
but think that's a 14 ounce reduction.
Conversely-
that's about half it's a pint.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pint less.
So and then eventually, as limited time offerings, as the extreme gulp and the teen gulp.
There you go.
Conversely, 7-Eleven also introduced the little big gulp.
Yeah.
What?
Originally simply called
The
gulp,
gulp.
which was 22 fluid ounces or 650 mil, and at 128 US fluid ounces or
What?
3,800 milliliters, the teen gulp remains the largest fountain offering in the world.
I don't
That's
think.
nearly 4 liters.
See, the thing is,
I think-
everyone that's really investors can be like, oh, well, you can buy bottles that are that big. You can put a lid on a bottle and put it in your fridge. The fountain drink, on the other hand, is like, I have to finish this.
What year did that come out? The family double, triple gulp?
Team
whatever it was?
gulp.
Team Gulp.
Yeah.
Sounds like a late
The
80s.
last year that was stated is 1989.
There you go.
Because I think you can point to the downfall of civilization. You can point to that as the moment where it began.
That sounds about the same time that Pizza Hut started doing the Bigfoot and Little Caesars started doing the super big pizza as well. I watch clearly Chiquitos. I watch a lot of like YouTube on fast food chains and things. It is interesting. Anyway, so after purchasing an auto parts company and an oil provider,
Cool.
Southland was beginning to struggle with the size and the diversity of the company. Cracks in the management started to form, and rumors of a hostile takeover were starting to swirl around like the top of a perfect Slurpee.
You almost nailed it. It was a well-crafted joke. It was delivered mediocrely.
So after
Sean, you sound parched. Sounds like you could do with a
It's a
Slurpee.
family triple gulp big boy.
Team Gulp.
So after purchasing an auto parts company and an oil provider, Southland was beginning to struggle with the size and the diversity of the company. Cracks in the management started to form, and rumors of a hostile takeover were starting to swirl around like the top of a perfect Slurpee.
Wow, he got that on the first take.
Wow, yeah,
That's
I'm-
impressive.
Don't ruin it.
Great delivery, Sean. It's
Sean,
like
We've had so much criticism of
You've
waffling
almost-
in the last
you've
episodes.
almost said like you've rehearsed it before once before.
Yeah. That was like
That
you
was really
practiced
well
it
done.
beforehand.
Are we going to
Good
have our
job.
first walkout? It's not live, but
You walked out the other day.
that was thirsty. That was different. So
Anyway, flawless delivery aside, good job.
to avoid a corporate takeover from a Canadian rich guy, the Thompson family began turning the company back into a private venture by buying out its public shareholders. This seemed like a pretty solid plan. Like in the current economy, it was pretty good. They take out the loans necessary. They buy everything, except it's the 80s.
Ain't no money.
Ain't no money. Well, there was money at the time, and a $5.2 billion management buyout occurred, which is a lot of money. And assuming that the company is going to be doing good, you can take that crap to the bank and you're going to have success. John Thompson Sr., or John Thompson, now the chairman of 7-Eleven, was now back in control at the helm.
He's back.
What could possibly go wrong? 1987 was going to be the best year of the stock market ever, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, stock market crash.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O.
With enormous company debt from the buyout, 7-Eleven had to sell off its auto parts division, hundreds of store locations, and these were eventually turned into rival convenience stores. Extra blow. And sadly, the final nail in the coffin for its origin story, it sold off its ice division.
Oh, no.
At that point, it still had an ice division producing ice for the company and then having ice in the stores. Now it's just stocking Bell's and
Polar ice.
Polar Ice and Ipswich Ice Company and whatever else they got. But at the time, it was still in-house, strong, together.
Make 7-Eleven great again.
Sadly, this wasn't enough though. And in 1990, Southland filed for bankruptcy in order to transfer 70% of the company to Ito Yokado, its Japanese affiliate. With all said and done, in 1991, after a $430 million cash influx from Ito Yokado, the Thompson family, the founding fathers of the United States of Slurpee, only retained 5%.
United Slurps of America.
Crap, I got myself with that. They only retained 5% of the company, which is
That's like still okay for...
measly.
Yeah, but like you still own
Yeah,
part
but
at least.
the people that own the rest of it are a gigantic.
Yeah, but at least you
Japanese.
still own some of it.
It's not like it's spread a little bit. It's like one man owns the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey guys, thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd be happy owning 5% of 7-Eleven.
Well, this says that in 1st of December 2023, Japanese parent company, 7-Eleven International,
Yes.
bought out the 752 Australian stores for $1.7 billion.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
With the mass buyout, Satoshi Ito now became the president of Southland in 1991. He was the head of Ito Yokado. Although he's credited for revolutionizing Japanese shopping, his stint as president would be short. On account of his company higher-ups getting involved with racketeering run by the Yakuza.
Jeez.
Oh, not the Yakuza.
Yeah. Some of the payments to the Yakuza even apparently came directly from Masatoshi Ito's wife.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He denied everything, of course, but he still stepped down from the presidency to save the company.
Now, I didn't do anything, but I'm
still gonna
a
step
head
down.
out.
Yeah.
That sounds eerily familiar to an episode we covered 2 weeks ago, two episodes ago.
Which one?
Watergate.
He stepped down anyway.
Yeah, except he kind of had to admit that he did it. There was recordings of it.
So, with all of that sorted, and they're like, all right, we'll clean up our act. Expansion was the name of the game for the 90s. And by the time we got to the turn of the millennium, 7-Eleven had 25,000 stores across the globe. That's a few.
It's more than two.
With all this came the next big rebrand. In 1999, Southland officially changed the company's name to 7-Eleven Incorporated. as the stores were now all that it was doing. It no longer had the ice division, it no longer had the auto parts or the oil company. It was just doing the 7-Eleven stores. In 2007, 7-Eleven surpassed the monolith that is McDonald's to become the largest franchise by number of locations in the world, with stores in over 25 countries.
I was about to ask, how does it compare to Macca's?
Yeah, larger. That's wild. And McDonald's got smaller when it removed all its Russian stores, but that's another story. Now, without the family background of the company anymore and so many stores to contend with, some scandals started to develop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a big one was in Australia. In 2015, it was discovered the franchise owners were not paying their international workers correctly and threatening them with deportation if they spoke up.
This was a big deal. I remember this.
After a series of articles came out, starting with the Sydney Morning Herald, the company was forced to pay over $173 million in back wages to workers, not including damages, legal fees, and everything else.
That kicked off a whole bunch of companies doing that, like checking and finding stuff. My company did it. They were like,
"Oh, really?
We got bought," and they went, "Ooh, guys, your payroll looks a bit weird." And they went through and looked at it, and they had to pay a lot of money. A lot of money. Yeah.
Also in 2015, 7-Eleven had its first ever bring your own cup day for Slurpees. Sounds like a really whimsical idea, doesn't it? It was a genius strategy to sell more Slurpees.
Until people walked in with the Eskies on wheels.
Yeah, well, no, that was okay. That's fine. But as usual, people took it way too far. Fans bringing everything from musical instruments to toilets to the store to fill them. This then required some moderation, as with cutout boards with a hole in the middle representing if it could fit through that hole, you can fill it up.
So what you do is you bring a hollowed out telegraph pole and you just slide it through. Keep going.
But why a toilet? Like, I know it.
Why not? That's the funny kind of stuff Australians do.
When I want to flush my poo, I want to see grape flavour.
I know it came from the hardware store. Like, they didn't pull it out of their house.
Grape is good for.
Okay, what part of the toilet are you filling up? Are you filling up the cistern or are you filling up the bowl?
This picture I saw was the bowl.
Yeah. I assume that they're like plugging. It's got to be a new toilet, right?
Yeah, it would look like a new toilet.
Then again, a new toilet's pretty expensive. So they must be bleaching a toilet.
The next big controversy, unfortunately, was also around international workers.
Oh, no.
In 2018, the US Immigration Service, or ICE.
ICE, baby.
It's secular.
I know. It all comes back around.
It comes back to ICE.
They raided nearly 100 stores across the United States, and they found 21 people that had been hired illegally as undocumented workers.
Oof.
The franchise owners had their contracts torn up and the stores taken from them.
Oof.
In 2019, California attempted to ban the sale of soft drinks bigger than 600 mils.
Oh, no.
This could have been the end of the big gulp as we know it. Because there was also laws like this popping up all over the place. Like there was Rudy Giuliani tried to do a similar thing. Like in New York City, they called it the anti-big gulp law. It didn't end up panning out because in New York in particular, they made it like some sort of state regulation. 7-Eleven was a national company, so they're fine. Fortunately for 7-Eleven, but not for everybody's bodies or teeth, the law was struck down. So fans of oversized soft drinks could keep enjoying their Slurpees in small desk bins, helmets, blender jugs, and mixing bowls. Just not toilets.
Good.
Just no toilets. No more toilets.
Don't fill your toilet up with drinks.
Yeah.
Don't disconnect your toilet from your house.
And fill it up with the Slurpee.
Clean it, hopefully with bleach. Plug the back of it. Drive all the way to 7-Eleven. Bribe the 7-Eleven employee to let you bring a toilet in. Fill up your toilet with Slurpee and then drink the Slurpee. Just don't do that.
Just don't do it. It's not worth it. In the post-toilet Slurpee timeline.
That's not a world I want to live in.
7-Eleven operates over 84,000 locations across the globe with as much variety in a small space as possible. We've seen all the amazing foods that come out of 7-Eleven in Japan, with social media now really prompting that. Oz has its contract with Krispy Kreme to hand out stale glazed donuts to Uber drivers in the middle of the night, except South Australia, because that's with On the Run. Sorry. Even more recently, 7-Eleven Australia has a milkshake and smoothie machine built into each store that can do everything robotically, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
I had the milkshake, Rachel got a smoothie, because dairy, and it was pretty good.
They seem like the kind of thing that would be fine in a
Yep.
machine.
Seems
Yeah.
the perfect thing because the 7-Eleven operator
Yeah.
doesn't have to do anything. The
Yep.
machine does it all.
What about the 7-Eleven hot dog?
The 7-Eleven hot dog.
7-Eleven glizzy.
Yeah. Then there's what they sometimes have fresh fruit.
Yeah.
Um,
They've got sandwiches. They do the super cheap coffees.
the coffee is not horrible.
I don't mind the pie selection from time to time.
Yeah, it's not bad. They used to do, and for those that remember the mid 2000s, they had like a cheese and bacon sausage roll, which they still do now, but it's much smaller. But it was hefty. It was probably like
That sounds good.
it's probably as wide as like a can, but like a little bit longer, and it was a big feed.
Mm.
I'm trying to think the last time I stepped into a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I don't go in there very often anymore.
I go regularly because I enjoy the fuel lock feature.
Yeah,
And-
that is a good feature.
And also because when I've got Bonnie in the car when she was little, I could pay from my phone and fill up. I know you can do that with other servos. I'm not having more than one app. I don't care. I
Someone's a
don't care
brand
about the
loyalist.
price. No, I don't care about the price difference enough to be like, oh, mobile's 2 cents cheaper than 7-Eleven. I just don't want to have bigger apps on my phone.
If it's 20 cents cheaper, I'm going there.
20 cents is a big difference. There are also a few 7-Elevens near my house.
Mm.
In fact, there's one in either direction if I'm going away from my house towards anywhere.
I have one fairly close to my place. I think the last time I might have been in a 7-Eleven, boy, is when we were in Sydney.
Wow.
Together.
Really? That was like 9 years ago.
Wasn't that like 2012?
That was like 13 years ago.
And what did we go
Was
into 7-Eleven for that after we did that massive walk? Weren't we looking to buy something very specific? Deodorant? Was it
Might
deodorant?
have been.
Hmm.
We went for a walk and got lost.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just as like Google Maps was starting to be a thing. And we ended up like an hour and a half away from where we needed to be. It
Nice.
was a long walk. Saw the AWA building, now my favorite building in Sydney.
Now, if you're a big fan of 7-Eleven, like I am, because I love 7-Eleven, comment on the socials what your favorite thing is to get from the store. Is it fuel? Is it stale donuts?
It's Slurpees.
Or do you like to get the pre-packaged ice cups that you can then fill up with iced coffee from the machine, which I think personally is their coolest thing.
It's Slurpees. What's the point of this? It's Slurpees.
Well, either way, comment what your favorite thing is to get from 7-Eleven. You never know what it might be.
Get ready to cut. It's crack from the dealer around the side of the building.
I've never been to a 7-Eleven and thought, gee, I'm unsafe here.
You never.
No, they
7-Elevens
are.
are always really bright and they're always fairly clean.
Yeah,
They
and
never
like-
have the night service window. They're always just open.
Yeah, they're always open.
I was
Yeah.
going to say they're very bright and clean.
Yeah.
That is what I do remember from.
Don't you disparage 7-Eleven?
No,
like that.
I'm
you're
sorry.
If you're heading back from like Ashgrove towards the city, there's a 7-Eleven and then there's a BP down the street. The 7-Eleven is open all the time. The worker doesn't care who you are. He's got headphones in. He doesn't give a shit. He's talking to his mates. The BP down the street, night service only. Sorry, you can't have anything. You got to pay for your fuel. And every time I go to the 7-Eleven, it's fine. It's normal people getting stuff. I go to the BP on the odd chance. It's one really sketchy dude paying for his fuel and buying smokes at 1 a.m.
Yep.
Why am I in Ashgrove at 1 a.m? Who knows? But it seems to be a regular
One sketchy guy buying
one
cigarettes.
sketchy guy buying smokes.
Looking for ice.
Old
Yep.
Gasper turns.
Yeah.
Looking,
So
looking to get a score of ice, aren't you, Sean?
yeah. So that's the history of 7-Eleven.
In a bag, not a cup.
It's a surprisingly interesting history
It is.
for
It is.
a convenience store.
It's something that everyone knows.
Yeah, everyone
7-Eleven.
knows what 7-Eleven
Like-
is.
And like you said, you say 7-Eleven, you think of Slurpee.
And
Yeah.
you know
Think of
what?
fuel.
You know what? Aside from my parents, everyone loves 7-Eleven. My parents don't like 7-Eleven.
It is at the end of their streets.
Yeah.
But
They also have like
what's...
traditionally they've had pretty dodgy fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Until the mobile deal, they had pretty dodgy fuel.
But yeah, it's like it's just one of those things. It's such a day-to-day colloquialism for like fast convenience stores or fuel stations.
Yeah.
But it's just got such a fascinating history.
Well, I think I looked it up. It had a current market cap of 38.3 billion.
It's gigantic.
wow.
Absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
Invest in 7-Eleven.
No, it's down 0.44% at the moment.
Buy low,
Buy.
sell
Now
high.
it's time to buy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do not take financial advice from Cheeky Tales.
Cheeky Tales
but-
does in fact say yes to 7-Eleven.
But
because
We
love
are
7-Eleven.
not a financial podcast. That doesn't mean we can't be right.
Fair enough.
It's like the disclaimer when you call the insurance company. It's like, we are credited to provide advice on products that we sell.
Yeah.
This does not necessarily mean this.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think? History of 7-Eleven.
It's fun. It was good. I enjoyed that.
I rate it 7 out of 11.
That's not a good rating.
Boo! Nah, it wasn't bad. It's not bad. I mean, we didn't have a pun. We didn't have a traditional pun. So that was
True.
not bad.
He said, let it snow. I thought that was the pun that we started off.
Did I? Did I?
When he said no more Frozen jokes, you're like, let it snow.
Oh, right.
No, that's fair.
It's not really a pun. That's a reference. Anyway, good story. Enjoyed it.
Bring your toilet in, fill it up with some icy
No,
drink, and
no
let's go,
toilet.
Sean.
No,
No
toilets.
toilets.
No toilets.
Garbage bin, though.
Cheeky Tail says no to toilets.
Inflatable pool?
Yeah, that was used. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I think I seen a gumboot. Someone did a gumboot.
Somebody gumboot.
Yeah.
Some random things that didn't make the episode, which I have enough battery that, yeah. A couple of the stores in 2007 actually rebranded as Quickie Marts for the Simpsons movie.
Yep.
They went full out. And I know that Apu's been cancelled, but like that was at 2007. It was
Yeah.
It was it was pop culture.
What do you mean Apu's been cancelled?
They got rid of it.
Apu's not on the
Apu
Simpsons
na
anymore.
pas Apu na hasapin na pedalon.
He isn't?
Is
No.
no, hasn't been for a while.
There was a thing about it a while back.
Who's running the Quickie Mart?
They just don't go to the
They just
Quickie
don't go to the Quickie Mart.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about The Simpsons lately is there's a bit of a controversy because apparently they killed Marge.
No, they didn't. They showed her dead
It was a
in the
future episode. I
That's-
know.
You just got clickbaited.
Ugh.
All right, well, good ep. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Yeah, History 711. Thanks for listening, guys.
Good night.
You've been listening to Cheeky Tales Podcast. If you'd like to see supplemental images related to our episodes or to interact with us about our episodes, hit us up on @CheekyTalesPod on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can watch our episodes on YouTube or listen to them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.